As with all brand new episodes/seasons in Destiny 2, it is now time to cover and let you know about the top 10 most popular weapons being used right now in the Revenant episode. This information is extremely useful and can be used by all players, whether you're a veteran or even a brand new player. If you're a brand new player and you aren't using any of these 10 guns, you're obviously doing something wrong, as these top 10 guns are usually the best guns, or there's some sort of meta around them, and that's why they are the top 10 most popular. And if you're a veteran player and you aren't using some of these guns, there could be a hidden meta that you don't know about. So without further ado, let's get straight into this list, and starting in at number 10, we have the Apex Predator. Now there isn't too much to say here about the Apex Predator. I've mentioned it before, it's pretty much been in every top 10 most popular list for the past however many seasons since it's come out. This is by far the best rocket launcher that you can get for any DPS rotation, and unfortunately nothing has really power creeped enough to be better than the Apex Predator. So if you're looking for a rocket launcher to do damage with, the Apex Predator is your go-to. Now this weapon can drop from the Last Wish raid, and it is also craftable, so once you get 5 red borders you can now craft it. And the gold roll for this weapon is Reconstruction and Bait and Switch, making it a great rocket launcher to use in any DPS rotation. Coming in next at number 9, we have the Commemoration machine gun. Now this machine gun is arguably one of the best machine guns that you can use for pretty much any encounter in the game. Whether you're doing a contest raid and you need to kill plenty of ads, or you're doing a simple nightfall, this gun is awesome. Now the Commemoration's real only competitor is the Hammerhead. However, you need a little bit of RNG luck to get the gold roll Hammerhead, whereas you can actually craft the Commemoration once you've got all the red borders, making it a very simple but effective gun to get and get the gold roll. In my opinion, and the most popular gold roll that the Commemoration offers, is Reconstruction and Killing Tally. Reconstruction is going to overflow that magazine and reload it for you when you're not using it, overflowing it to over 130, even 140 bullets in one magazine. Then, when you pair this with Killing Tally, after getting just 3 kills, you have a free 30% damage boost, as long as you can keep these 3 stacks of Killing Tally up. So, having over 130 bullets in one magazine and a free 30% damage boost for all 140 of those bullets, this weapon is extremely useful as a machine gun. Now you can get this weapon from the Deepstone Crypt raid, and like I said, it is craftable, so get your hands on one if you're not using it. Moving over into number 8, we have the Anarchy. Now the Anarchy has always been a very solid DPS grenade launcher that goes in the heavy slot to do decent tick damage. However, this season it is especially useful because of one of the artifact perks this season, being Concussive Reload. As it states, using a grenade launcher to damage a boss, champion, or break a combatant shield will weaken them. Now this is pretty much just a free damage boost to every boss in the game, as long as you are damaging the boss with a grenade launcher, and luckily enough the Anarchy counts towards this. Now everyone knows the meta with the Anarchy, you stick the boss once and then you stick the floor beneath them, and it's going to chain between them and do constant tick damage, which will also weaken the boss for you while you deal DPS with other guns. Overall, this is a great weapon to use this season, especially with this artifact perk, and if you aren't using it to weaken bosses, you definitely should be. Moving on to number 7, we have the Indebted Kindness. Now again, this is another weapon that every single person knows about, and there isn't too much to say here. This is a rocket sidearm, still one of the best guns in the game even after the ammo nerf. The Indebted Kindness hits like an absolute truck. Now this weapon will drop from the Warlord's Ruin dungeon, and you can get it from farming the first boss. Now there is plenty of different gold rolls that you can choose for this gun, but the major thing that you need on it is Vault Shot. Now whether you pair Vault Shot with Beacon Rounds, Impulse Amplifier, or Lead from Gold, any of these gold rolls will be amazing. As long as you have Vault Shot on the gun, that is what really makes it amazing. Anyway, there isn't too much to say about this one. Everyone knows about the Indebted Kindness. It's been the best gun for plenty of time now, and you should definitely have one in your loadout. Moving on here into weapon number 6, we have the Edge Transit. Now the Edge Transit is one of the best heavy grenade launchers in the game to deal damage with. Now as I said just then, it is one of, as it isn't the best grenade launcher in the game right now, as there is a brand new grenade launcher from the new dungeon that technically does a little bit more damage than it, but anyway, we won't get into that today. Either way, the Edge Transit is a very, very strong grenade launcher that you can use in any DPS rotation, and I'm sure pretty much every Guardian has been using it for the past few months. Now the Edge Transit is obtainable through the Onslaught playlist if you focus it through Zavala, and there is plenty of gold rolls that you can go for. However, the most popular one and the most easiest one to, use is Envious Assassin and Bait and Switch. These two perks combined together is amazing. Envious Assassin's going to overflow that magazine to up to double, and then Bait and Switch is going to give you a free 35% damage boost for your DPS phase for 10 seconds. Overall, it's a very solid grenade launcher, and if you don't have one yet, or you're still trying to get one, I wish you luck. Moving on to weapon number 5, we have the Outbreak Perfected. Now, the Outbreak is just one of those guns that you should always have in your inventory, ready to pull out at any given moment. Whether you run out of ammo in a boss fight, you can quickly pull it out and you know it's going to be the most staple and best kinetic weapon to deal damage with. But not only this, is that it is also an amazing weapon to use in Grandmaster Nightfalls. With the artifact perk being this season of Unstoppable Pulse Rifles, any unstoppables in any Grandmaster Nightfalls, the Outbreak will just melt through them. With its Sieva damage and also having rewind rounds on the gun, this weapon is amazing, and it was honestly a very strong weapon, especially if you have your whole fire team using it. It can actually do some serious damage. This one is obtainable through the 0-hour exotic mission, and pretty much everyone should have this by now, as it is a very strong weapon that everyone should have. Jumping over into weapon number 4, yet another exotic, we have the Graviton Lance. Now, the Gravy Train, as I like to call it, is one of the strongest exotic pulse rifles in the entire game. Pretty much every Guardian should have some sort of Void build ready to go with the Graviton Lance, as this is definitely one of the strongest builds that you can get in the game. Pretty much every single kill you get with the Graviton Lance, due to its exotic perk Cosmology, will cause them to explode and send out Void projectiles to do more damage. You can get some massive chain reactions going off of explosions, and then when you pair this with something like volatile rounds, this weapon is completely busted. It is extremely fun and useful to use, and I definitely recommend giving it a go if you haven't tried it already. Closing in here on the top 3 most popular weapons this season, in at number 3 we have a brand new pulse rifle being the Vantage Point. Now, this one drops from this current season as it is a brand new weapon, but I'm sure pretty much everyone has gotten one by now. And overall, this is a very solid arced pulse rifle. With there being plenty of perks to choose from, it's pretty hard to say at the moment what is the specific gold roll to go for. However, one of the most popular rolls set is Eddy Current and Jolting Feedback. Jolting Feedback being a brand new perk that pretty much just inflicts enemies with Jolt whenever you deal weapon damage. Overall, this is a very solid pulse rifle, and if you haven't got one yet, definitely look out for the gold roll if you do get one to drop. It's honestly a very decent pulse rifle. Moving over into weapon number 2, we have the brand new grenade launcher this season, the Alethonymo. Now, don't flame me in the comments if I said that wrong. I think that's how you say it. Honestly, you can't even find a guide on how to say this word on Google. You know it's a rare word when that happens. Anyway, enough about that. This grenade launcher is honestly extremely useful, as it is a primary weapon using kinetic damage, meaning you have unlimited ammo in a grenade launcher. Its special perk allows you to spawn in special and heavy grenade ammo, making it quite useful for you and your allies. So far, I can't tell if this is actually a very decent weapon, or if it's high on the popular weapons, because it's obviously a brand new exotic. Most cases is that it is just a popular new exotic, and people are just using it to try it out, and honestly, it's not all that. Either way, it's still pretty fun to use and can deal some pretty decent damage, and the ability to spawn in ammo for your allies is very, very useful. But anyway, that's enough about that gun. Let's move over into number 1, the most popular weapon so far in the Revenant episode, and that is the Lost Signal. Now, very similar to the Anarchy, the Lost Signal is extremely useful this season because of the seasonal artifact perk that allows grenade launchers to weaken bosses. Now, being the Lost Signal is an aerial denial, it makes it very similar to the Wither Horde. Meaning for any DPS rotation, you can stick the boss with the Lost Signal, and then put it away and DPS with other weapons, knowing that A, it's going to deal pretty good damage, and B, it's also going to weaken the boss for you. Now, this weapon came out last season and is also craftable from the helm as long as you've got all your red borders. The most popular crafted weapon combos is auto-loading holster and Vorpal weapon, meaning it is a very, very good weapon to use for any DPS rotations. But not only is this gun extremely useful for weakening bosses and dealing pretty good damage, but this is a very unique weapon in the way that killing adds or dealing damage to adds for some reason charges your Darkness Transcendence bar extremely fast. Now, this is probably something to do with the fact that this weapon shoots 5 projectiles, and each one of these projectiles counts as an individual damage pool, and if you shoot it right, you can make all 5 of these pools deal damage to different enemies, meaning you are having 5 different sources of damage, charging that Darkness Transcendence bar extremely fast. Overall, this is definitely one of the best guns in the game right now, and if you haven't got it crafted, I definitely recommend going to the Helm and going to the last season and getting this one crafted as soon as possible. But anyway, Guardians, that will wrap the top 10 list up there. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, feel free to drop a like, subscribe, comment down below, and let me know what your favorite weapon is this season. But anyway, Guardians, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.